Aloha, Claire here with the Alexander Technique. Thanks for tuning in. I am in the middle of a sequence on the cranial nerves. I write about this every week in my sort of weekly email. And then once a month I make a video. So we just landed on the 11th cranial nerve, which is called the accessory. If you want to find out more about it, you can sign up for the weekly. I write about, some of the interesting details. The function of this nerve is a motor nerve. So a lot of the nerves previous to this one are sensory. All the sense organs in the head, the balance, the eyes, the smell, your ability to open your jaw, the sensation that you receive from your face, all of this important functioning. But now we're really at the motor control. And this is an area, the motor control that this nerve provides is of the sternocleidomastoid muscle, which runs from your sternum, of course, and a little bit these collarbones here, and it goes up diagonally to the back. And I've made a bunch of videos about that because part of the important movement that it provides is the turning of the head. So when I turn this way, this side is contracting and this side is releasing. When I turn this way, this side is contracting and this side is releasing. So it has to alternate mostly in its functioning. And then the other muscle, so we've got our head, our ribs suspending from our head in the back with this muscle. And then the other muscle, here I can show you a picture of it. Here's the sternocleidomastoid running from the back to the front. And they're kind of friends because the other muscle it provides the functioning for is the trapezius, one that a lot of us get mad at. And that's running all across the back of the skull out to the end of the shoulder blade and then all the way down deep to the T12, so below the ribs. Okay, so my way of helping people work with this muscle themselves, if you go to an Alexander lesson, the teacher is going to provide a lot of help in this area. They're going to use their hands probably to help you coordinate the activity of these muscle groups better, because when they're all contracting all at once, things get really difficult. So I just want to give you something that you can do yourself to explore what I'm going to say would be the relationship of the release to the activity of the muscle, because that's what muscles like to do. They like to engage and release, and there's a relationship between the length of the release to the power of the contraction. So the longer your muscle, the more powerful it is when it's working. The longer it is when it's resting, the more powerful it is when it's working. So I'm going to show you, I'm only going to deal with the trapezius today because I've made a bunch of videos about the head turning. So I'm just going to show you how you can provide support for the most release, use that support as a springboard for activity or contraction, and then return to the release. And maybe you can get a little bit of a reset in this muscle. So what you need is, maybe a towel. I have a pad I've made for myself, and you're going to put it right at your chest level. And that's because you want to give yourself some support for your ribs so that you can let your shoulder blades kind of soften. what we tend to do when the trapezius is overactive or hyperactive is we're lifting our chest and pulling our shoulders back. And so you're going to lie on the floor with something supporting your chest so that you can let that go. And then you're going to put this under your head so that you've got space to breathe. Got to give a little bit more space here. Good. So, the first thing you're going to do when you rest your head on the floor is you're going to look down, because that's honoring the most forward release of your head and all the sense organs. So your body really follows your interest in your eyes. And so this is a more up and out interest. And if you are really wanting to release deeply the back body, to look down and towards the floor is a more primary fetal kind of activation. So that's what you're going to do. You look towards the pad and just wait. I'm turning my head so you can hear me, but just give yourself a little bit of time to feel the contact of your hands and your elbows and your head. And don't worry about this feeling you might get that your shoulder blades move up and kind of out. We're so used to having them down, but really let them slide forward. So you look down, and then you look out and you think of drawing yourself forward along the floor. And you can experiment with a pull and a push, and then just release back down. I've got a little bit forward there. So again, it's a looking down, just spring out, to release down. That's it. So you are activating, releasing. Releasing as a springboard for action, activating, and then releasing. That's it.